Hi, so this is the video on color choice. If you haven't watched the update video for this week 11 yet, please make sure you do that. This video is going to specifically talk about the assignment regarding color choices. Your project for your AAC is going to need a color theme, a set of colors that will work together, work for a lot of different purposes, and basically represent your brand. So I want to talk today about some branding ideas, branding considerations that you should be thinking about as you're choosing your colors. I also am going to talk about how some options of ways to choose colors, some resources, and then how you use them in our programs to actually make sure that the colors continually match. Because it's one thing to say we're going to use blue, but realistically you want to use the same blue all throughout all of your materials to make it consistent and to be on brand. So when we talk about being on brand with colors, you probably are really familiar about color brands. You've already seen them every day. You may have taken classes where they've already talked about this. But if you think about it, Coca-Cola has a color set that is specific to Coca-Cola. ASU has a color set that is specific to ASU. We have our maroon and gold. We also have some more, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. But brands pick colors for a lot of different reasons. They pick them to represent the feel of the brand. So if I'm a more rugged, masculine brand versus a more feminine brand, I might use different color choices. Also to evoke different psychological effects. Certain colors have different psychological effects. So they choose the color to help evoke something in their audience. If you haven't noticed it, you may think about it. Think about many technology companies. What color do they use to signify their brand? Many of them use the same color. So when you're thinking about your brand choices, typically I'm going to recommend you pick 3 colors. You'll pick one color that is your main base color. That is the color that you would use most frequently, that will be pretty much in everything you create. Then you would create a second color, which would be more of an accent color that you could use to highlight things. Typically, it might be a lighter color or have more contrast. You want to remember the color theory. Go back to that color theory video that we watched a few weeks ago in terms of the different ways we can choose the colors. So you'll have a base, you'll have more of an accent color, and then you'll have a neutral color, a color that you can use more often, but it is your kind of neutral on which your base color and your accent color kind of are really the highlights of the story. So 3 colors at a minimum is what I would suggest, and identify the base, the accent, and the neutral. So there are some ways that you can actually choose colors that go together. First, I'm going to show you the ASU brand guide so you can see how ASU has applied this to its brand. If you would like, for your project, you can choose to use the ASU color set. You'll just want to say that that's what you're going to use and make sure you're using the specific colors from the ASU set. But I would say, you know, a lot of people do use the ASU colors, so just make sure if you want to stand out, sometimes you want to pick your own. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the ASU brand guide. You should all be able to access the ASU brand guide on your own. I usually just Google ASU brand guide to get there, and then you have to log in because you're an ASU affiliate. I'm going to show you on my screen what that looks like. So again, share computer sound. Okay, so this is I Googled for the ASU brand guide. This is what it looks like. If you click on it, it will, again, ask you to log in as an affiliate for the school. It just keeps track. We're serious. Most companies are serious about their brand. They want to make sure you are following the rules exactly. It's actually one of the challenges with trying to do our online AAC project. We have to be on brand with any website we create, any online presence we have, and that's hard to do, actually. So I'm going to log in as an ASU affiliate. Hopefully I have got my dual login set, so it's not going to take forever, but it will take a little bit for logging in. So if you look through it, you can see all of the things about the brand, but we're particularly today going to look at the color palette. And so you can see what they've done. ASU's primary colors, so they don't just have one base color, we have 3 primary colors. Well, our neutral is the white. So 3 primary colors with the white as the neutral. And then we have 4 accent colors that are used primarily, I believe, on online presentation or online materials. But the most recognizable are, of course, the maroon and the gold. So when you go and choose colors, I'm going to show you this in a little bit, but you're going to have a set of numbers. Those are the ones that tell you these specific colors. So it's a specific maroon and a specific gold, and these colors get you that color when you're reproducing it. So we have, we don't need the lab coded colors. You have the ASU black and the ASU white. Yes, there are different blacks and whites. And then our secondary colors, using them sparingly to complement the color palette. It's helpful when using complex data visualizations and maps that require multiple colors for clearer reading. When you're creating data visualizations, you may need more than 2 colors. So having some secondary colors is really good. Again, the minimum I would require is 1 secondary color, but if you can create a broader palette, it's probably going to be more helpful. So you can see here, if you would like to use the ASU colors, these are the ones you would select these numbers and submit that for your assignment. So the assignment for Wednesday is that one person, probably one of your managers, should be submitting to me the numbers for the colors that you're going to choose for your palette and what they're going to be used for, primary, secondary, or primary, accent, neutral, what those choices are. So you're going to present that to me for your Wednesday assignment. Again, everybody needs to understand this, not only for how to use them, but also I would like you to give input to your managers on what your color choices should be. So that's the ASU brand guide. There are some other options for finding colors. One is, and I need to change my screen share, find a new share. The color hex codes. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to show you the color personalities information. So again, you can Google this, but there are a lot of opinions on color personalities. These are some that are pretty much universally agreed upon. Red is passion or excitement. Orange is energy or active. Kind of yellow is optimistic or cheery. Yellow, be careful though, if you do too much yellow, it actually starts to get annoying to people. Because people are too annoyed if you're optimistic or cheery. Nature, healing, green. Blue is technology and trust. So blue is the answer earlier when we talked about what tech companies use a lot. If you look at IBM's logo, many of the tech company logos, they are blue for this reason. Purple is creativity, pink is romance or happiness, and black is luxury or sophistication. So these are the basic ones. Again, you can go do some research on some color theory if you'd like, but this, if you follow this, will be very helpful for you in choosing your colors for your projects. So now I want to show you another option for picking colors. And this website, color-hex.com, has a lot of options. So they have some users' favorite colors you can look through. And when you click on the color, it not only gives you what is called the hex number, which is usually the web version of the number, but it also has the RGB numbers. We're going to need the RGB numbers for our Microsoft products, but you still also want to have the hex number because there may be some printing things we need done that the hex number is going to be helpful for. So please make sure when you submit the hex number, which is usually a hashtag with numbers after it, and RGBs. You can just copy and paste those. So this one, you can see what the actual numbers are, all of those cool things. What I like here is that it has palettes. So it helps you look at maybe some colors that some people have already put together for different themes, different ideas. Some of them are good, some of them are not, but it gives you some ideas of putting together a palette. You can search for color palettes, so sometimes you could search on a theme, like living, see what they come up with. Depends on how people named them, I believe, but there might be some options for different palettes. You can also log in and you can actually create a new palette. So as you're creating your own color choices, it may be helpful to use the color chooser, to use the colors that they have here. and select and see how they look together, because how they look together is going to be really important. Make sure you're using dark colors and some darker colors to start with. You can always use shades of colors and still be within your brand. So just make sure you have enough dark and light in your range, but no, you can still use shades of those colors that you're working. I would not suggest selecting a whole bunch of different shades of blue. That's probably not going to be as useful as picking separate colors and then being able to use some shade variant when you're working. Okay, so you can create a color palette here if you'd like to log in and save it, and then it can give the numbers as well. It could be nice to post that for everybody if you want to do that. So color-hex.com is a great way to figure out what colors you want to work with and play around with them. So realistically, we've gone through color choice and how to choose them. But I want to talk finally about how to how to actually use them in our software. So this should be pretty quick. Go over. I created a quick graphic. In absence of gender discrimination or interference, the chances of having a boy are slightly higher than having a girl. And I would have probably needed to, I would highlight boy and girl. What I did was, though, I selected a color palette from ColorHex and went and used that palette. As you can see, there are some things that I might want to adjust with that palette, but if you were going to do your own palette, I wanted to show you how to do that. So we have our graphic, we have our graph here. You're going to select something you'd like to change the color on. You're going to click the little pink bucket. You're going to look at the fill, and you're going to click the down arrow on the colors. So now I have all of these recent colors. These were the colors that I had in my palette. I entered all of them so I'd have them available as my palette. If you're going to use palettes for a very long time, you can actually go to design and enter a palette and save it and use it across all of the programs. That's actually a really good thing to do if we're going to be working on it with these colors for a long time. But to change the colors, you're going to click more colors. And if it's on the standard, you'll just then tab over to custom. And this is where you're going to enter the RGB numbers. So again, from ColorHex, I'm going to go look. Let's look at the ASU. And you can't see this probably, but I can. I'm going to look at the ASU colors, and I am going to enter the RGB for the ASU green. So it's 120, 190, 32. 120, and I'm just going to select it, 120, 190, 32. That's the ASU green. So if I wanted to use that color in my visualization, that's how I would do it. You're just going to click that, more colors, and you're going to enter the numbers that you find on the ColorHex website. So you would want to use your colors consistently though. So if I'm going to use, I'd use black. I probably wouldn't use the green because that's a highlight color, but I could use the maroon and gold. I could use white because that's the main color. But maybe I could use the green to highlight a particular finding. Again, it's a pretty striking green, so I might want to be careful with the use of the accent colors. I would probably choose the gold for the male and the maroon for the female, because the gold is the brighter color, and that's the number I want to stand out. So if I was going to select that, I might select the male and make that the gold color bar, and the female make that the maroon bar. Use white for the data labels and use black for the words on the screen. But basically, that's how you use those numbers. You just enter them in the box. Okay, I think I've covered everything. I've covered why you should choose different colors. Again, you can go back to color theory. You can look at some at the personalities of the colors, of the personality of your brand. You can look at, again, what the psychological effects of certain colors are. You can then go to the ColorHex website and play around with palettes and figure out some options. I would suggest those options to your managers, and then managers, you should be submitting for me the final color choices that you would like approved. Again, I'm going to approve them. If I'm your ASU 121 teacher, you're all set. If you're in Erin's ASU 121, then she will finally do the final approval on your colors. I would like to have that happen by Thursday, so that when you're making your infographics this week, you can use your color sets to actually make your final infographics. Okay, thank you. That's the color theory video, or the color choosing video. You have one other video this week, and that is on making word clouds. So that'll be up as well. Bye.